And then also too, it's like one of the biggest things is like communication. I feel like we forgot how to communicate like what we want in the relationship. As the man, he needs to lead the relationship. He needs to be the one that's going to dictate how this relationship's going to go, what I need from you. Because if you think about it backwards. A woman leading the relationship and telling the man what he needs to do for her. That doesn't even sound right. And I've never seen or heard a relationship that has worked with the woman leading. And I'm not saying women can't lead, but I'm just saying it's not even natural. And when you try to follow the most natural way of doing things, it's usually the best way. When you go against something that's natural, that's when conflict comes.
Welcome back to Self-Worth Relations. It's your boy B-Dab.
And I'm Juan Moreno.
Belly, it's been a cool minute, bro. It's been like a month.
Hella long.
It's been a month. So much has been going on.
We've been working on this episode for a while, too.
Yeah, bro. This is the longest we've ever worked on the episode.
Yeah,
if you really think about it.
Yeah, if you think about the structure, to the notes, to us, like, rehearsing all that stuff, you could definitely, like, it definitely has been a while.
Yeah, and so much has happened, bro. You know, the Keke Palmer thing, like, you know, I don't know if you heard, but the Steve Harvey thing with his wife, you know, his wife just got caught cheating with the bodyguard and her swim instructor.
No, I think it was a personal chef.
Was it the personal chef?
Yeah, personal chef and the bodyguard.
Personal chef, bro. Like,
but this is the guy. Remember, Think Like a Man. He's the one that he has these like relationship shows where it's a majority of women at these shows, and then to see the outcome of like this, it's like honestly, it's like sad. Yeah. It's sad, but that's what happens when you pedestalize anybody. Like when you put anybody in a position where you make them feel greater than who they really are. Like you don't check somebody. Like if you're a partner in that relationship that you're in, if you're like always trying to make it like they're perfect, this is what happens. That entitlement stuff. They think they're better than you, which is crazy.
Yeah, facts. And I can't imagine how he feels right now, bro. I would feel crushed taking in a woman who came in with 2 kids. You took them in as your own, did all that you could, and then this happens?
Because he left. See, and this is a problem too, right? You see this commonly. Like I even did that before. It's like you're in a relationship, you meet like a mistress or something like that, and then like you leave that relationship and get with the other woman. But then it's kind of like, you know what? On your part, like as a man, you're kind of more objective. But then with a woman, that if she knew that you were with somebody else and you left that other woman to get with her, that does actually kind of say a lot about that woman, especially if she knows that you left your wife or your girl for her. I feel like regardless, I feel like the foundation is off. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a pure state where you met her. You met her when you were with somebody else.
Yeah, facts. It's just like as a man, you think of like say you got a woman from her cheating on her man. You're going to be like, in the back of your head, you're going to be like, oh, you know, that might be how I lose her. You feel what I'm saying? What's going to make her stay with me? You know what I mean? What's going to make her make a different choice with me than she did with her last man? You feel what I'm saying? But I think that's where it ties all into our relationship, the relationships in general. And it comes into our topic, you know, the reasons why you can't keep a relationship, bro.
That's going to be big.
So much stuff, like so many facts that we've researched, that we've looked up, that we dove into, and stuff that we kind of already knew, but man, starting off with, you know, in the last 50 years, bro, like the marriage rates have dropped by 60%. Just think about that. Like, what does that number say to you?
I think when you look at it like on both of our experiences, right? Like from your parents to my parents to friends' parents, it's kind of hard. When's the last time you ever heard like celebrating 50 years of marriage? You know what I'm saying? In cases like the, you know, I forget the generations, how it goes, but like from the boomers to, I don't think it's Gen Z, but I forget. But it's kind of like, you don't really hear that no more. Lately, I think things have gotten in the way where relationships have been so hard to maintain. You have social media, you have different things going on where people have been so distracted. It's hard to please somebody because you're so focused on yourself. You know, like you're not sacrificing your own selfish needs for the sake of the relationship. There's no such thing as a bigger picture. Like before, it was like you date somebody for 3 months, you figure out this is a person you want to marry, you get to know their family, you ask the father to get married, and that's not the case no more. It used to be courtship. It used to be dating for 3 months, then courtship, get to know them deeper level and the family, and decide this is the person you want to have kids with and get married with, and then you then make that move. And like me too, like I didn't know how that was before. Like dating is actually fairly new. Like people have been dating for 7 years and have children, but then it end up never getting married. So like you see like a lot of the marriage rates and all that stuff's going on because there's no structure no more. It used to be like arrangements, like if I want to marry this girl, I have to go talk to her father first, and then the father has to kind of like almost do an interview with me to see if I'm that guy, and then my family sees the woman and see if she's the type of woman that I should marry. It's like everything has gone backwards, and I feel like I'm not surprised why marriages are like failing how they are. Like what do you think from what you see too? Like what do you think like with like 'cause that's crazy, bro. 60%.
That's wow. That's extremely high, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes to kind of what I've been seeing my whole life. Whether if it's combativeness, whether if it's disrespect in a relationship, that always breaks a foundation. You feel what I'm saying? It can be something that takes place 10 years down the line. Doesn't matter. When disrespect is involved, it can destroy a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And whether if somebody gets comfortable and they're like, oh, well, maybe I can say this or I can do this, like that can, and say something because you think that person's going to be there forever, and that can break the relationship, So I think the main thing that in my experience is the combativeness, the willingness to go to your 9 to 5 and be submissive to your boss, but come home and argue and yell at your husband and, no, I do what I want to your husband. I've seen that, with my parents. I've seen that with, all different types of family members. So I think that's a big contributor to, the divorce rates and how things are going right now. And people are scared to get married. People are marrying someone because of their financial status. Okay, I know this is how much I could get after this many years. And people have like, really financial goals in their head. I think about, okay, I just got to stick with this person for 8 to 10 years and I could get half of whatever they have. All I got to do is pop out a couple babies. That's a terrible mentality to have going into a relationship. But, that's not the world we lived in. We don't live in a world where it's like people genuinely will love someone for who they are and start a family based off of it can be like how you were saying, like the courtship, getting to know that person, building a relationship. Hey, with this person aligned with my relationship with God, this person aligned with my family, and people are just marrying off of lust.
Mm-hmm. And then also too, it's like one of the biggest things is like communication. I feel like we forgot how to communicate like what we want in the relationship. As the man, he needs to lead the relationship. He needs to be the one that's going to dictate how this relationship's going to go, what I need from you. Because if you think about it backwards. A woman leading the relationship and telling the man what he needs to do for her. That doesn't even sound right. And I've never seen or heard a relationship that has worked with the woman leading. And I'm not saying women can't lead, but I'm just saying it's not even natural. And when you try to follow the most natural way of doing things, it's usually the best way. When you go against something that's natural, that's when conflict comes. And there's like this study from Psychology Today where it talks about like another big reasons why relationships fail. I'll probably read this. It says, the single best predictor of divorce/failed relationships is when one or both partners show contempt. In other words, disrespect in the relationship. And some examples would be like the communication with your partner. Does he or she lift you up or bring you down? An example is communicating in negative judgment, in criticism, or sarcasm towards a person as an individual, getting personal by attacking the person, being tough on the person, and soft on the issue, the behavior, the mistake that person makes. An effective communicator would separate the person from the issue and be soft on the person and firm on the issue. And like when I read that, I just think about like the day to day. You know what I'm saying? Like if your girl or if your man does something that you don't like or that you seem to be like disrespected by, you don't shame that person in public. Like you pull that person to the side, like, hey, I didn't like that. I feel like I was disrespected. You probably didn't mean it, or you did, but regardless, like we can't have that happen again. Because how am I supposed to communicate or talk to you if you do things like that? Like you have to correct behavior in a relationship. Like you have to kind of tailor that person to be who you want them to be, and you have to be encouraging. Like nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody that you feel judged all the time. But at the same time, it's like you have to, be able to trust this person's leadership and, communicate effectively. Like, the main thing I get from that is like, we're not intentional. We're not communicating what we want, what we need. We're kind of just like going with the flow. Things aren't being said. There's no foundation. I feel like that's what happens like with relationships. Like they're going to fail. Like if you don't like communicate, like, you're like, I want to marry you. I want to have kids with you. But the type of woman that I take serious is not going to act this way. Like if I'm working my ass off, like, and I'm, outside in the world just trying to make a name for myself, I don't want to deal with the stress of the world and then the stress with you at home. Like what do you think about that? Like, do you think like some of the reasons why relationships are failing as well is, do you think like the key thing really is like the communication?
I think, yeah, the communication and like obviously not, having a foundation of like, hey, what do you want? What do I want? Like the open communication from the very beginning. Hey, I want a relationship. Hey, I don't want a relationship. Like, I think a lot of people aren't talking about that. Hey, I'm just in here for sex. Hey, I'm not in here for marriage. I'm in here to build a relationship with someone. A lot of miscommunication comes into people bonding together. And then when things happen, like people have kids and stuff, they find out, hey, I don't even like this person, but we have a kid together. And now you got people who were never even married separating, but they have a kid or two together. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wow, like now we have to work on co-parenting. Yeah. And I think about what that does to the kids. Wow, mommy has a boyfriend, daddy has a girlfriend. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but how much better would that be if mommy and daddy didn't have a boyfriend, they were just together and they actually thought before they,
do you think like people, cause we see this a lot, bro. We see so many single mothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's some single fathers too, but like, do you think too, like what you see is that people are so selfish. People don't even think about the kid. You're breaking a family. Y'all not trying to work it out like how people used to. Like back in the days, like I would hear this all the time. Like we stay together for the kids, and they'll end up making them actually a happy family because both parents are working hard to make it work for the kid. Now it's like fuck the kid. Like it's all about me. Like, oh, I can't do what I want. Like basically like forget the kid.
Bro, listen to this statistic, bro. This is for single parent households, bro. Children living with two unmarried parents were more likely to live below the poverty line in 2019 at 38.1% than children married with married parents at 7.5%.
That's a big jump.
Do you see the big jump in that? Mm-hmm. Do you see how detrimental that can be for a child, bro? Mm-hmm. What does that statistic say to you, bro? Like, because for me, it's just like, with these statistics, if I'm in a relationship and I'm serious with somebody, looking at these statistics, I'm telling whoever I'm with, hey, you need to tell me before the child gets here, before we have a child. Mm-hmm. Are you in this or are you not?
Right.
I need you to be real as possible for me. There doesn't need to be any questions, because with someone separating from their partner or someone to have kids with, that puts them at 38%. Your child's most likely 38% likely to live below the poverty line. But for you, what does that mean for you?
Bro, I look at my own self. Like when my mother and my father both divorced, I mean, we had like a good household. We had all the family coming over, family parties. Our place was a spot to go to, Christmas together, everybody getting gifts. Like, there was no struggle with money. We used to walk home, not walk home. We used to get home to, like, new clothes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the family dynamic was so important. And I look back, that's some of the best years of my life. Like, when I was a young child, like, when my parents were together. The moment that they got divorced, income split. Some person took this, some person took that. And it's one person take care of 5 children, like my dad was a single father. And so, like, he had to take care of all 5 of us with, my dad's an immigrant, got it from out the mud. And so he has to take care of 5 children. Usually I think the average statistically for a children, I think below 18, is like $11,000 you spend on them annually or I think I might be getting that wrong, but I think it's like 11,000. So imagine 5 children. You know what I'm saying? That's like 55,000. Like, and it's crazy because like, you know, as a single parent, and imagine the single mothers too. Like I think the average for single mothers, like they make less amount of money too. I think they make about maybe 35 to 45,000 on an average salary. And to take care of a children by yourself, and that's why I think we forget what I think parents become so selfish, or not everybody, but people become so selfish that they forget about the child. It's all about how they feel, and they forget like you have a child in like the early process development that like this is gonna impact, because it impacted me, impact my siblings. It broke a home, and it gave broken children, and we had to figure out a way to come out of that. And I'm thankful that we did, but I know a lot of kids didn't.
Yeah, it's a critical point. It's a critical moment where you gotta really think about that next generation. Once you have a kid, once you pick that sexual partner, and you get pregnant, it's not about you no more. It's not about how you feel. You know what I mean? It's not about where, oh, I wanted to do this, I wanted to travel and do this. It's not about that no more. It's about that seed. It's about that child. So, you know, when you're, you know, breaking up for petty reasons, doing all this stuff, being toxic with your partner, you got to think about these percentages, because we both were affected by this. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom was disabled. She wasn't working at the time when my parents split. You know what I mean? You go from a household making $300K to below 40.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And living in Manteca, California. Think about that, bro.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? You go from filled refrigerators to baking soda in that motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but that's the reality. Things hit you when things change. Like, listen to this statistic, bro. 80% of all single parents in the United States are single mothers, dog.
That's crazy.
Just think about that, bro. And 52% of those single mothers are millennials.
That's basically damn near us.
That's us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so important, you know, for young men and especially young women. You got to be careful who you're picking to have sex with in your life, who you're picking to have a child with, who you're picking to have a partner with. Like, it really matters, because those little pieces of you and those little pieces of your partner are going to go on that child, whether if you like it or not. You know, you can't, you know, have a child with somebody who's a hothead and be mad when your child gives you headaches. You know, like you're hand picking your partner. Yeah, you know, be cognizant of
right, because even as a woman too, you can't sit here, because you hear it all the time. You hear women blame the baby daddy for everything, but it's like you chose him. Like the guy you chose, the relationship you're in is a reflection of you, and that also goes for the baby daddy. Him too. You got baby mama that's crazy. You picked her. That's your fault too. Like, this is your guys' problem. You guys have to handle this like adults now. This ain't about y'all. This is about the kid now. But we get so programmed to focus on ourselves, and it's crazy. Like, what's the other stat? I think there's like a few more stats too, right?
Yeah, bro. Listen to this. This is crazy. 52.3% of single mothers have never been married. 29.3% are divorced. So from the women who've had these babies, 52% of them,
crazy,
like had these children. Now, if they would have had a let's just say a requirement, like, hey, you know what? I need someone to court me. I need someone to date me. I need someone to court me. I need someone to actually take me serious in marriage for me to even think about giving them a kid, right?
Yeah.
50% of these children would have multiple parent homes, have foundation, right?
Yeah, right.
29% of these women are divorced, left relationships. You know, whether it's from abuse, whether if it's from them just picking up and just, you know, they're not happy, they're just leaving. It's crazy. And 31% of the single fathers that are living are 31% of the single fathers are living at home with their parents, bro.
As a man, that is like, you know, because you don't want, as a man, you don't want to be living with your parents too, especially I
What?
I moved out like at 19, So it's kind of like when you live with your parents, it's like,
Bro.
yeah, cool. They're letting you live there and stuff like that. But then when you have a child, it's kind of embarrassing because it kind of shows you as a failure. And you should feel the shame. You should feel that like embarrassment because that's going to push you to get out of your comfort zone because you can't be. I mean, yeah, shit happens, stuff like that. You should only be living with your parents at a certain age if you're like 25 plus or even 21 plus. If you have a sickness, a disability, you lost your job, whatever, but you got to get your ass back up fast because your kid is being impacted.
Bro, when I moved back from Morgan Hill, bro, it's just something within me, bro, that does not feel right about staying home, bro. It's just a certain age you get to, bro. That's why I'm working the jobs that I'm working. That's why I'm cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my situation right so I don't ever have to leave home. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's a certain, like you said, there's a certain amount of shame that it's like, even though you're there, you're helping, maybe helping with yard work, get a man's presence in the household. At the end of the day, bro, we're young and we're supposed to go out there and get it.
Get it.
You can't go out there and get it if you're in the same place you went to high school in, you went to college in, you went to elementary in, you're in the same environment, you're in the same room. Like, bro, that's not it. You have to get out there, bro. And don't get me wrong, if you need to save bread, I get it.
Yeah, it's different.
But you know what I'm saying? And that's the situation I'm in. I'm having to save bread so I could get myself an apartment.
Yeah.
But there's still that shame and guilt that comes with it.
That's good, though,
Like,
because it
damn.
drives you.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not even a bad thing, too. Do you want me to read this? It says right here, it says single parent families and especially mother only households are more likely to live in poverty compared to married parent households. Given this, kids of single parents are more likely to experience the consequences of growing up poor. Children in poverty are more likely to have physical, mental, and behavioral health problems, disrupted brain development, shorter educational trajectories, contact with the child welfare and justice systems, employment challenges, and adulthood and more. And I faced that though my whole life, a whole bunch of all that stuff from a single parent household. That's literally all that I dealt with. Like, I don't know what you think about that.
Bro, really think about this. And we're speaking on this in the aspect of all you women out there are our sisters, bro. I have 6 sisters. I have 19 nieces and nephews. I would tell each and every one of them, you know what I'm saying? The same thing. The choices that you make are going to echo in your children's lifetime. So if you pick a partner that you know ain't got nothing going for himself, you know didn't treat you right, know that you don't have a future with, and you have a baby by him, like it's these are the choices you're making. Look how much damage you're doing to your child. You're more than likely going to live below that poverty line. And we're not saying everyone's going to live below the poverty line.
Yeah.
But majority of people, majority of women that are trying to raise these children by themselves that need help are going to live below that poverty line. Yep. These single women.
That's facts.
So we have to be so critical in who we pick as our partners, who we have kids with. You know, this ain't no game. This is real life. This is real life. You need to pick. You need to be critical about and be anal about the people that you have that have sex to you, that have access to you, that you're in all reality gonna have a future with. Because if you don't like somebody and you have a child with them, you have to deal with them for the rest of your life. Just think about it. Every time you're with somebody physically, just think about it. Can I deal with this person for the rest of my life? Whether in marriage or whether co-parenting. And if the answer is no, you need to keep going. And they need to kick rocks. Because you don't need to be wasting time. That goes for men and women. You don't need to be bullshitting and playing around with life. God wants us to procreate, but this meaningless sex, this having sex with people you don't even know their name, having babies by people you don't even know their name. It's ridiculous, bro. Look what you're doing to the children, to the youth. And this is generations of kids that are coming out and having kids too. So if you're not passing nothing down to them, you're not showing them the foundation, what type of future do they have?
Mm-hmm.
If we were to look at the statistics from kids of kids, the statistics would probably be way worse.
Yeah, and also too, it's like this goes for both sides, and we both know that. Like, it goes from the baby daddies to the baby mamas. Like, we need to be more conscious of like who you having sex with, just like how B-Dab says, and sadly, some of these things like come from programming to the magazines to the TV to the movies to your friends, single friends keeping other women single. Like, and there's another good study too that comes from the New York Post that I'm going to read real quick. It goes, why 60 years of feminism has not made women any happier. The American Family Survey recently asked, all things considered, has feminism benefited American families? Now it says only a little more than half, 58.6% of respondents said yes. But before y'all say feminism was good, what's interesting though is the people who say yes also tend to be among the least happy and fulfilled. In survey after survey, it turns out that people who espouse a secular worldview, people who identify as liberals, and people who never attend religious services report the lowest levels of personal satisfaction. But they also report the highest levels of support for feminist ideals. Indeed, as feminism's influence has grown over the past half century, women have become less happy. And a lot of women have been like basically been raised to be independent. You don't need no man. You don't need no this. And, you know, buy this. What about your career? What about the money? What about the vacations? What about the child? Like, what about your man? You need a man to survive. I like to look at things like this. I heard this great analogy. It goes, as men, especially masculine men, we're like a coloring book. We're bold lines, empty spaces, good structure. You see the bigger picture. Women color that picture, add light to it, make it more fun, make it more enlightened. When you combine those together, men and women marriage perfectly together. But with feminism, it has kind of moved women away to make them think that they don't need men. Yeah, everything around them was created by men. And like and it kind of destroys this family dynamic with, I think what's like 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Even a lot of the single parent households, I mean, it comes from either marriage or, you know, the man got caught cheating and the woman just, you know, they just decided to take the child away and keep him away from the father and stuff like that. And we know how important it is for the father dynamic to be involved. And with all this stuff going on, it has destroyed women. It is actually, feminism has actually made women more, have to, like, imagine, like, as a woman, before it was like, you find a good man, you have children, you make the home a home, you take care of yourself, your makeup, your appearance, all this stuff, you cook, you clean. Very simple and actually very free life because you're actually happy. You know, it's because you're a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean, a lot of women want to be a stay-at-home mom. A lot of women always want to end up getting married the older they get, especially when they hit their 30s. When they hit that wall, they realize like, wow, I've been chasing a career, chasing all this and that. And then once you get to that point, you're like, damn, I wasted my whole life. Imagine also the other women, like we've talked about it, like people that we know that dedicate 30, 40 years at a job, and then as soon as they're about to retire, they get let go. And then they think about like, was this even worth it? Sacrificing my whole career when I could have had a family. And then you look at that, it's kind of like, you know, the women have had the most freedom they've ever had right now in this time. And yet they're the least happiest they've ever been. So when you think about like this stat with feminism actually bringing women to be the most unhappiest, and then you think about like with the divorce rates of like women initiating divorce, like now I'm not saying all women and stuff like that, but the stats do say and the facts do say like women are the ones most of the time destroying the families. They're breaking the family apart. They're breaking the homes. And I can speak for me, like, you know, I've had that experience with my family. Like my mom's the one who initiated divorce, moved somewhere else for her own reasons. And I don't really blame my mom, but I really blame everything around her, the propaganda, the things that she's seen, the things that she was sold and she believed to her family, to her friends. And it destroyed our family. It broke the home. It broke the family dynamic to the point where it also created broken children. So like, I don't know if you could speak anything on that, if you have anything in mind.
So yeah, I mean, I think what plays into it, especially for our generation too, is technology. People don't talk about it enough, but technology is a lot of it. You know, back in the day, they really had, you know, who they were involved with, and whoever they were involved with, whoever they was in their neighborhood, whoever they ended up marrying, that was the talk of town. Okay, Susie and Jay got married. Is what it is. They have a little boy. Yada yada yada. Like, that's what it was. Nowadays, you know, people get married to make the IG posts, to make all these, you know, things to post, and then when you're actually in the marriage, the phone is taking them out of it. Now they see, oh wow, this guy does this for his girl in a relationship. This guy does this in a relationship. This guy looks better. This guy has more money. This girl has more body, you know? And people start to look at these things, and it starts to take them out of appreciation of their partner. And now it puts them in that poverty line and puts that child in danger. Every time they look at things like that, it puts their child in danger. It might not affect them. They might go get someone that has a better body, get someone that has more money, get someone that is in a better situation. Maybe even get someone who, you know, thinks better than their spouse. But what does that do, having to co-parent with that person and their child seeing all of that? What damage is that? We just talked about the statistics.
Right.
And one thing I want to dive into, some of the statistics that we have, is about the phone. About half of Americans in romantic relationships say they deal with a partner being distracted by their phone. A percentage of partners, adults who are 51%, say that their partner is often or sometimes distracted by their cell phones when they're trying to have a conversation with them.
51%. That's
just think
crazy.
About that. 51%. That's half of people.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. You trying to have a serious conversation with your woman, and she's sitting there on Instagram scrolling. What level of respect is that? What level of communication is that? And diving into the next statistic, 40% say that they are often or sometimes bothered by the amount of time the partner spends on their cell phones. Just think about it. You sitting there watching TV with your woman, and she's sitting there scrolling.
Or at dinner.
Or just imagine, bro. Could you?
That's even worse.
Could you imagine being at dinner, not even having a conversation, just sitting there scrolling?
Bro, have you seen that? I see that all the time,
bro.
All the time,
bro. Could you imagine having sex? And she's sitting there scrolling on IG.
You gotta
what the fuck are you doing?
You got to throw that white flag.
like right after you have sex, like straight to IG, straight to text. Like, bro, just think about that.
That's
like you can't even enjoy an intimate moment, or like something as simple as like going on a road trip. Like, we're too busy trying to post the view instead of viewing the view and having the conversation.
Right.
We're too busy trying to post the marriage instead of value the marriage.
Yeah.
And actually, like, you know what? I told God that I'm going to love this person through thick and thin. I made a promise to God. People don't think about that. In marriage, you make promises to a higher power you can't even understand. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as soon as, he doesn't make me feel good, I'm out of here.
Right.
He frustrates me. I'm gone. What can you touch on about that, bro?
One thing I've been learning too about marriage is like there's vows, and those vows and everything when it comes to marriage has never been about happiness. It's about starting a life with somebody, the ups and downs. Marriage was never meant to be all about how you feel and about being happy. And then you also see it too. It's like we're so caught up in trying to record the sunset instead of enjoying the sunset with our like partner. And so like you see that all the time. Like when it comes to like the cell phones, it has played this comparison game from the cell phones to the fake reality of relationships when it comes to like this Disney movies. Like none of that shit's real. When you think about your own family, when you think to yourself, when you look at your own mom or your grandma or grandpa like that been together for like 50 years, or you heard of couples that been together for like 50, 25, 30 years, they're not happy all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like one lifts the other one up. It's a bunch of ups and downs. Somebody gets sick. You have to be there through the worst. There was this excuse me. there was this like viral video that came out recently where the what do you call it? Not the preacher, like the one that's not a priest, not a preacher. The one that's like getting the people married together. The
priest.
Is it the priest? I'm a
Yeah.
priest. He was like reciting the vows and stuff like that. You know, like through sickness, through that. Do you submit to your man? And the guy was getting married to his now wife, and then like the wife started laughing. She was like submissive, and I was like, oh, that's a red flag, because I think we forget, like, as a woman, submissive is like trusting your man. You got with this man. You having sex with him raw. How could you not submit to somebody that you're having sex with? That doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you got with this guy, you trying to marry this guy, but just hearing the vows of like submitting to your man and being obedient to your man is a problem. What are you doing with that guy then? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make no damn sense. You're going to let him have sex with you raw, but being obedient is a problem? Yeah, you're being obedient when he's sticking it in? Like, I'm confused. Go ahead.
Bro, that's the type of generation we're living in.
Crazy.
Like you can go like someone can have sex with somebody else and not know their name. But if that person was to walk up to, hey, I want to date you, I want to take you out. Hey, I don't even know you like that. Like, what the fuck? What kind of world do we live in, bruh?
Yeah.
Like, bro, and it's just one more statistic that I want to throw out there, okay? 34% say that they have looked through their current partner's cell phone without the person's knowledge. So just think about that, and then think about how much, even the relationships that are real, think about how much the technology is ruining it. Like, having 34% of people have felt the urge to look through their partners, and I've been there, bro. Trust me, I've been there, bro.
Yeah.
Just the art of not knowing, and just like what could be in there. And I've been sick plenty of times, bro. I've been sick plenty of times, you know. And
that gut feeling, bro, when you look at somebody's phone and you see something you
and
don't
then you
want to see,
like, oh, you see something that you had a gut, you wish you were wrong, you know. Damn, why did I look through? I should look, you know. But it's, in some cases it is necessary. But just think about 34% of people actually had to, so they felt the urge to do those things, and you know, it's just the foundation of relationships, getting to know somebody. Like people are having sex before they even know somebody's name. Think about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just to get to know them as a person. They don't even know what type of family they have before they have kids.
Think about this too. I feel like a lot of this contributed to like the sexual revolution that happened back in the 60s and 70s, to the point where like they were promoting fake articles from the Cosmopolitan about like living this single lifestyle for women. This is what you should be, empowering women to have sex, encouraging abortion, encouraging like the pill and stuff like that. Like, have sex just like how a man does. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have sex and you don't have no repercussions except for maybe an STD, getting pregnant, or just wasteful sex. I think that it sucks because, you know, let's be fair, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. What you want to do with your life, that's your choice. But accept the outcomes. I think that's what we forget. We forget like the decisions you make, the ideas you believe. You could do whatever the hell you want, but you have to be aware of the outcomes of your choices. And you can't sit here and blame a man. You can't sit here and blame a woman. You made that choice. You got her pregnant. You got that STD. That is your problem. And that's what happens when we're so focused on like the sexual pleasures, and you have to protect yourself. Be on that pill. Abortion, that's up to y'all. Not having sex, restraining from it. Don't just be having sex with just anybody. Like, you have to be very conscious of who you put your energy in. And it sucks because a lot of single mothers came from this. A lot of single fathers came from this. A lot of broken homes, a lot of broken children comes from this. And it's all based on just the pleasure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. And to dive into this next topic, you know, what's the trend that we see in failing relationships? You know, one of the things that we have is like, women are acting like men. When you lose touch with your femininity and amplify your masculinity, you create an unseen armor against men and love. Just think about that. Just think about that. You're so focused on you. You might push away somebody that could have treated you right, somebody you could have built a family with, someone you could have loved eternally. Just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not saying, you know, not to protect yourself
Yeah.
and not have standards,
Right.
but being in that realm, and it's kind of in a way a repellent
Yeah.
for men. Real men don't want
Especially
to
a
deal with
masculine
that type.
man.
Real men don't want to deal with that type of thing. Like you
Yeah.
talked about earlier. Why would I want to go out here and build a name for myself? Do all these things, and I see you. You're a beautiful woman. You could tell you have a lot going for yourself, and I try to talk to you, and the energy that's given off is like, well, I don't need a man. Well, I don't need a man for anything. I could do it myself. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, do it yourself then.
Yeah.
That's the energy you're going to get back. You can't get mad when it's like, oh, well, why isn't he chasing me?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the energy you're putting out. It's going to be received right back to you.
Yeah. And that's true, too. I feel like, I don't know if you want to read that little key point right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can read that. While your masculine energy can propel your career, it can also wreak havoc in your relationship by blocking love. And I think when we talked about relationships and we talked about all these different situations, when we talked about, you know, I'm not going to say the name, but, you know, a certain individual who worked at a job for 30 plus years, and right before, you know, she spent all that time building up her career. Mm-hmm. And when it was time to retire, they were fired. Right? Now, all that energy you put into it, all that, you know, all the relationships and X, Y, and Z that you put behind you, and you're like, man, I got to focus on my career, more money, focus on my career. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Nothing to show for it.
Because when you're on your deathbed and you're looking around and you don't have any offspring, that's going to be the worst feeling in the world. You know? But when you look out and you see 100 and something kids, you see 200 kids from your 10 children having 10 children, and those 10 children having kids too, and you're like, man, from a single woman, 50 plus kids came from me. You're gonna feel accomplished in life. You're gonna feel like you did what God wants you to do.
100%. And another key point is like, if you're the type of woman who wears the pants in a relationship, you are forcing your partner to be the one wearing the dress. Meaning, if you operate more in your masculine, your partner will be more in his feminine. And for most men, this feminine energy is difficult to maintain. Because you got to think about it, as a woman, you want a certain type of quality men. Usually, majority of the women want the 20% of men. But that 20% of men is not going to want a masculine woman, because they're masculine and they're naturally masculine, and they're going to want to have a feminine woman to bring them to peace. Like how I said earlier, men are like coloring books that are bold, simple, and paint a bigger picture. They want a feminine woman that puts energy and life and coloring to that coloring book. So if you're always in a masculine frame, and you're, as a woman, you're not naturally masculine. If somebody tries to break into the house, is that masculine energy still going to be there, or are you going to be scared and terrified and look at the man to do something? And so you have to think about that. And it's hard because women have been pushed to be independent, to chase the career, chase the goal. You don't need no man. Secure yourself. Save some money on the side just in case he leaves or cheats on you and stuff like that. And it's kind of like you have ruined the opportunity for a man to truly love you. And I feel like that's what happens, because you have ruined the possibility of potentially having that man that you always desired, but you being your masculine frame. No man, especially the man that you want, is going to want to deal with you. Why would they want to deal with you when they could deal with somebody who is more at peace, more feminine, more open to love, and more willing to be able to support them instead of being combative? Yeah, I don't know if you had something to add on
exactly. That. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. And I just want to dive into this next key point, bro. And it says, men need to feel needed. It helps enhance their esteem and makes them feel great when they can help you. If you send a message that I am perfectly capable of doing it myself, thank you very much, you'll leave no room for your man to show you his love and support. After being shut down, your partner may search outside of the relationship for a way to fill his deep-seated need to contribute, because we find value in adding to our women. We find value in helping our women. And it could be whatever it is. Changing a tire, helping you out with your taxes. It could be anything, right? Now, if you, every time we're trying to show our love in that way, hey, babe, you ain't got to do it. I can help you. No, I got it. No, I got it. I don't need you. No, I got it. And even if you're in the talking stage, no, I got it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Okay, cool. No, I don't need the roses. I don't need this. I don't need that. It feels like we're trying to headbutt a brick wall. You feel what I'm saying? We're not getting through.
Yeah.
So why would I deal with that? And think about on the other end, like that when it's saying you might look outside the relationship, they might look to something else. Like, oh wow, this other woman is submissive. This other woman is like roses and daisies. This other woman is basking in her femininity. This feels better.
Yeah.
And that's where you get people making mistakes, cheating. Not saying it's right, but cheating, leaving the relationship.
The work wife.
Leaving, the work wife. Leaving their situation with kids or without kids. You feel what I'm saying? Because somebody else is fulfilling that need that we have in being that masculine presence. You know, and what's something that you can touch on about that?
Especially when I think about that, I really truly do think about, like, you know, there is different love languages for both genders. And for men, it's the wanting to fix things or wanting to help assist with things, want to keep you away from making maybe decisions that you don't really need to. A man doesn't really have to think or be stressed out or make it more complex. They could do things for you, like changing a tire is simple to a man. But for you, it might be like you don't want to get dirty, or that's too much, or you don't know how, and maybe you shouldn't need to. That's perfectly fine. As a woman, I don't expect you to learn how to change a tire. You know what I'm saying? But as a man, you need to know how to change a tire. When you're getting gas, there's no way in hell the guy should be sitting in the car and the girl's pumping gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to have these certain type of qualities. And like, if you don't allow your man to do what he's naturally created to do to help assist and show his type of love to you, then you're then forcing him to realize, like, you know what, maybe this ain't the right person. And that's the right man that you're going to end up wanting when you get older and it's too late, because he's not going to want you no more. He probably already found somebody else. Because this is something that is a true reality that I know is not going to sound good to certain people. But like, look, the type of man you want, what you won't do, another woman will. He has no scarcity mindset. He has no fear of losing you. He might love you with all his heart. He will still let you go. Just because he tried his best, you're not allowing him to. And this is the same type of guy 5-10 years later, 3 or 4 different baby daddies later, you're going to realize, like, damn, I let that one go. And so, like, yeah, just to add on to that, like, I really truly do feel like you have to be aware. You can't just be so focused as a woman, like, your list of things. What does the man that you want?
Exactly.
And then to add on to for the next key point, a successful, healthy, masculine man will be searching for an authentic, feminine woman. Even if you are a beautiful woman, men will likely find you unattractive if you are living from your masculine energy. True desirability has more to do with the way a person makes us feel than how they look. Because you could be the most beautiful woman that we've seen, but if you're constantly in a masculine frame and competitive, we're just going to want to date you and have sex with you. We're not going to look at you as a wife. And I feel like men make decisions real quick. There's certain red flags that go off quickly, and then you just realize, like, because I feel like as a man, you're always trying to look for that wife. You're trying to look for that one that, like, could she be my everything? Could she be the one to support me? Could she up and downs, potential wife, future of my kids? But as a man, you know, I was like the first 5 minutes, the first conversations, maybe a few dates, you'll realize quickly, like, she's damaged. She's broken. She got so much issues. She works too much in her masculine. It's all about her. She doesn't want to have kids. She doesn't want to get married. She wants to be independent. It's all about her career and stuff like that. At that point, then you're just a side chick, or you're just a woman that you just might just date for a few months, have sex with, and then move on. I know it's not popular, but I like for the woman to look at your experiences and just listen to what I just said. That's probably you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not married, if you're not in a relationship, but you've dated a lot, it's because you're not the type of woman that a man wants to marry. because a lot of women want to get married, but they never were raised to be a wife. And I don't blame them. I blame their parents and I blame TV and all that stuff. But at the same time, accountability. Now that you know, you got to make yourself, be like, a wife, because you're going to want that one day, whether if you do or you don't. But like, what do you think about that? Like, how I was just saying, right? Like a masculine man will be searching for an authentic feminine woman. So is that fair? Like, do you think like a masculine man that is naturally masculine, which is majority, I would say majority of men, is always going to be looking for a feminine woman?
Yeah, bro. Have you ever seen people talking about, I've seen it in college. I've seen it in school. I've seen it. It's like, damn, how did that dude get with her? Like she's not even like that. Like, why is he with her? And it's because of what she brings to the table. It's because of her feminine energy. It's more than what appears to the eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A woman that is a 10 can give you a fucking headache. And a woman that might be a 7.5 can be the best thing that you've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Every woman is different, and in a lot of ways, like, just like the statistic in the article brought out, like, you know what I mean? Like, that physical will only take you so far. We know as men, we know those red flags that we have in our heads. You know what I mean? And we know when the love is real. We know when it's like, because as men, we're looking for that motherly love.
Yeah.
We're looking for that unconditional. We're looking for that. And even though we might not find someone that shows exactly that unconditional love, we know when someone's close to it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So when we have someone that is feminine, that is showing that love and affection and doing things, you ain't even got to ask. Like, you guys go to a family function and you don't even got to say nothing. And she brings you a plate. Like, men, like we appreciate that type of stuff so much,
that is a
bro.
Super green
or
flag.
something like, you get home, you both worked a long ass shift. She gets home 20 minutes before you. She's cooking. She's straightening up. You get home, there's food made, or maybe she picks something up. Hey, like, let's watch some Netflix. Let's eat this food that I brought. And let's chill out. Even that type of shit.
So basically,
it's so critical.
It's like fair to say it, right? Like, even in that key point, it really talks about like, it's the way you make us feel, because your looks can only get you so far. It might open the door. It might initiate us, taking the approach. But now it's up to you to keep us. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, now we're talking about the type of man that you want. We're not talking about like cornballs or beta males, like the guys that you cheat on in your friend zone. I'm talking about the men that you want. They're looking for more than just your looks. Like, your looks is great. Obviously, the most important thing usually in a woman, I would say, is their appearance, how they take care of themselves, how they look, of course. But then after that, what's next is like, what does your heart look like? Your intentions, how do you make us feel? Are you supportive? Are you combative? Are you on my team? Or are we opposing teams, but we're together, but we have great sex? And it's like, you might have a lot of good success in dating, but there's still not a ring on your finger. And the older you get, it's like, yeah, you might be pretty, but you just been dating. You know what I'm saying?
And to touch on what you said about being a team, bro. There's one part in the article that it talks about, like, being a team. It says competing with your man sends him a signal that you are an opposing force rather than a team. Happy bonded relationships exist when a partner encourages and supports the other. If you're busy trying to gain the upper hand and control your man, he feels more like a servant than a partner. And your attraction to each other will wither away. So if you're sitting there playing this game like, oh, well, I'm the breadwinner, I'm this, I'm that, I don't have to be submissive because I'm in this position, I don't have to do this why do I have to do this? Like, he should be doing that for me, and yada, 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 and keeping count of like, okay, why did X, Y, and Z for him? Why doesn't he do X, Y, and Z for me? And you're keeping count of all the things. It's just a toxic cycle. And for your man, it's going to look like you're just doing things to get things in return, or you're just playing this like merry-go-round. And it's unattractive.
Yeah, it's like transactional. It's kind of like how you said too. It's like you're keeping score. Like, no man wants to deal with a woman that is keeping score. And by the way, with everything that we're talking about right now, we're gonna get to the men's. We're not done yet. So it's not all about women on this one why relationships are failing. This goes fairly with men as well. This goes on both ways, because what we really want to do is we want to bring men and women back together. We want to hear about marriages lasting for 25, 30 years, dying of old age. I feel like we forget that the most the most fulfilling and the most feeling of content is when you have a marriage and you have kids together and you have stories and you have principles and morals and you have this family dynamic that creates the full nature that we've been created to do. But social media, to magazines, to TV programming has erased that and made things more difficult. And so you want to make sure that, when you get with somebody, it's not about keeping a score. Everybody should be doing 100%. And it's so important for you guys to play your role. A woman plays her role. The man plays his role. As a woman, you should never get with a man that's not a leader. And as a man, you should never get with a woman that's not trusting your leadership and as combative, because there's no time to waste. I'll read this other one too, this other key point. Allowing your masculine side to dominate your life will rob you of your radiance. It disconnects you from your essential feminine essence. You absolutely shine when you embody your unique feminine radiance. Connecting to your femininity is essential to nurturing your soul and connecting with your playful, sensual, and authentic self. From this joyful feminine energy, you become alluring to men who seek to love and adore you. And I see that all the time on my job. Remember, I talked about like some of the women that are in these huge masculine corporate high ladder roles, that they have to be this masculine frame because they're working with a bunch of other men that are predators. Not predators and not in a sexual way, but they're predators that they're super competitive. So as a woman, you're naturally feminine. Women have to force themselves and try to stay in this masculine frame, which is not natural. That's why they get stressed out. That's why they get sick. And stress brings diseases. Stress brings cancer. Stress makes you eat more. Stress makes women gain more weight. Like, this is not your natural thing to do. Women have fought so hard to be in these positions that men don't even want to be in. Like, you think like getting to be equal to a man was really the thing to do? Like, men don't even want to do this. But you know why we do it? It's the difference. Women are doing this to be independent from a man. Man was climbing the corporate ladder, dealing with all this stress, doing the most terrible jobs for the sake of money for their family. And I think that's what we forget. We're so focused on trying to make men and women equal when the motivations were different, the motives were different. And it sucks because it has put women in this like masculine frame that steals their true feminine, beautiful self. Like how I said, like they're the color to the coloring book. And when you're in this masculine frame, it steals away of your true nature. Like, I don't know if you have something to add on to that one.
No, I 100% agree. The intentions are different. I 100% agree because, like the mental part, the mental aspect of it is different. Mm-hmm. I have to do this because I have kids and a wife at home. I have to do this because I don't want to have to worry about a man coming to save me. That's two different worlds.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And sadly, like, it like we talked about in the one example, like it can lead to a lot of these diseases, cancer, stress, and hair pulling out. Like it's the intentions behind the movement is not pure. You feel it'd be different if it's like, hey, I'm climbing this corporate ladder to support my family. No, it's like, hey, like I don't want to have to worry about a man trying to come to save me. I don't want to have to worry about like, I got money. What do I need this to? It devalues maybe somebody that makes less money than the woman. Hey, he doesn't make as much as me. Why would I take him seriously? When money isn't the core reason why you should pursue somebody or have a family with somebody. You can have a fantastic family with someone who might be shorter than you, might like make less money. How does that person and you and that person mesh together? You know, you never know. So the people that you were Xing out, you never know. That could have been the person of your life. But we're too fixated on being in this certain crowd or this certain mentality where it's like, oh, I make a certain text bracket, so I need someone to make that same text bracket. I'm this certain height, so I need someone to be this certain height. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm not even a short king. I'm 6 foot tall. You're 6 foot tall. Bro, if I was 5'4", do you realize how tough it would be?
Yeah, it would be. Right.
You realize you're making, say you're making $40,000 a year. Do you realize how tough the dating market would be? Just because of the mentalities that the average woman has? Yeah.
You know what? You know, that's a good thing you just said, too. Right now, we're going to share our thoughts about this. By the way, this was for the women because we were trying to... Right now, we just explained some of the key points why relationships are failing due to what we've seen with statistics and facts and majority of articles when they talk about women being in their masculine side. And we don't blame the women. Women are group thinkers. And I know this doesn't sound good, but women are group thinkers. Like if you put a woman in a crowd, if you ask them all the same questions, they almost give the same answer. And so with masculine frame, we're more individuals. We have more different opinions, and we go against the grain. And with sharing our thoughts, we want to bring men and women together. We're not trying to separate. We're not trying to keep going with this propaganda that's going on that has women being the least happiest, and then we also have men. I think the 30% of men. No, I'm sorry, not 30%. I think it is 30%. I think it's a crazy stat where it goes like, men that are 30 years and younger are staying virgins or not having sex, and which is a crazy stat to say. And also like 80% of suicides are for men too. And it just sucks because all this stuff has been taught to us and we just ate it all up. It's all about like your hedonistic pleasure and all that stuff. And, you know, I think I did want to add something you were saying too. Oh, there you go. I did want to add too. It's like, you know, when women make a lot of money, let's say you're making high-end 5 figures, you're making low to high-end 6 figures, you then get to the point where the woman is trying to look for somebody that's about equal to what they're making and more. So then you also eliminate a majority of the men that could have been a great father or a great husband and all that stuff. And now you're trying to settle for the 20% of men that might not even want you because you're in a masculine frame. No masculine man that's a high value man is going to want another woman that is like himself.
And to be exclusive to her.
Exactly. So, and when a man makes a lot of money, a man could literally make 6 figures to $1 million, high value man, and marry the McDonald's worker.
That has goals.
I'll be honest, she could just be beautiful, but she was raised to be a wife. And so like a man will literally take a 7 instead of a 9 based on how she is and how he makes her feel, and she wants to support him in all that she can. She's all about him instead of her career.
Bro, you preaching tonight. You preaching tonight,
so we cooking.
You cooking tonight, brother.
And we said
I ain't gonna lie.
We said this with love.
That is the truth, bro. That is the truth, 100%, bro. Mm-hmm. You know, you can get $100 million tomorrow in the market of what type? Because men look at relationships different. Real men look at relationships different.
Yeah. Keyword.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can look at someone and really get to know them as a person. Like you can have $100 million in your bank account, and you know, like, man, I want a good woman. I want someone that's submissive, someone that has goals, and you know, in some cases, not even with goals. Someone's gonna be a great mother. Mm-hmm. Someone that's going to you know, have a fear of God in them, and can help me to attack the world, help me to build my empire that I have in this world. Yeah. Right. Because if they don't have that, all that shit doesn't matter. She can have 100 million with me, but if she doesn't make me happy, she's not my peace, she's combative, it's a headache to talk to her, it's a headache to have deep conversations with her, what's the point? Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, we talk about, like, you know, hey, the prize is to get somebody and to get them pregnant and da da da. No, the prize is actually finding someone that is worth having a family with, that you can really build with, that you get along with, that you bond with before you even have the children.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And it's hard because, like you said, women are being feminine and women are being masculine and men are being more feminine. And that what brings it to our next part. And I'm going to dive right into it. Men are not leading their relationships. They're becoming more feminine than masculine, which is in conflict with majority of women who are naturally more feminine. And the first topic that I want to dive into is that she doesn't feel your presence when you're grounded, centered, and on top of your game. You're crystal clear on who you are and what you want. You say what you want, what you mean, and you mean what you say. You stand firm. You stand firm, and you're unwavering in the face of resistance. A woman who navigates by feminine energy loves and craves that more than you. It makes them feel safe and protected because she trusts that you have what it takes to be there for her, be her rock. Every time you act indecisive, fearful, uncertain, or all over the place, it breaks that connection and makes her lose attraction, untrusting, and even repulsed. So every time, like something as simple as not being a man of your word.
Yeah.
Oh, babe, we'll go to such and such on Friday. Friday comes around. Oh, babe, we'll go next Friday. Even that, something small. Hey, babe, we'll hit the gym this day. Oh, babe, let's go tomorrow. Let's go the next day. I'm not feeling like it. Hey, babe, I'm going to hit the gym this day. You don't do it. Hey, babe, I'm going to do this for our kids. And the day comes, you don't do it. That, in turn, she's looking at that like, oh, you're not a man of your word. That retracts her.
Yeah.
That makes her feel like, damn, well, now I have to step up. And then puts her back in the masculine, to have to do things that you're not stepping up to do. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm going to bring diapers for our child. That day comes around, you don't do it. A lot of women have to step up into that masculine position. Yeah. They have to play both roles because there's not going to be a man there to do it. So if you can touch on a little bit about that, what is your opinions on that?
Yeah, like for the women that listen to this, like men aren't safe either. Like we're going to go in too for the men's side because that's the majority of what's going on too. I feel like a lot of failed relationships are, yes, of course, women are at fault too, but so are men. Men have been programmed as well, just as women, to become more feminine. They want men to be more vulnerable. They want men to cry more. But majority of women don't even want men to express their feelings to that level where they're crying and complaining all the time. But TV, social media, they're all trying to talk about like how you should share your feelings. You should cry to your girl. You should be vulnerable. Fuck that. I don't want my girl to see me cry. I don't want even my family to see me cry, you know? Like, I'd rather cry by myself. And I feel guilty because I can fully let myself out. The worst thing I want is somebody touching my shoulder, be like, it's okay. Like, let me do my shit.
Bro, in one of my relationships, the most disrespect that I've experienced in a relationship was after the fact I cried to my girl and told her how I felt after my brother passed. I haven't dealt with that much disrespect ever in any relationship. The one time I showed that side of me, bro, everything changed.
Really?
Everything changed, bro.
Tell me how.
And it was just like, it was like a level of like, oh, this is who you are. Like, it was like, oh, I see your weakness. Oh, you're comfortable with me. I'm here to stay. Regardless of how I act, I'm here to stay. And that, in my mind, it's just like there's certain lines, you don't cross. So when I started feeling combativeness, when I started feeling, we're bumping heads every single day, like nobody wants to deal with that in life ever.
You look back to that point. You look back like when you think about the outcome of like you being vulnerable. It's like they almost use it against you.
Yeah, it was never
Like,
directly
yeah,
brought
I get
up,
it. Passive
but
aggressive.
in a way, it was
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh, you weren't acting like that before
Mhm.
this. You weren't disrespectful before
Yeah.
this. You didn't talk to me like that before. You didn't give me attitude about everything before this.
Yeah.
But you see that side of me, and it's just like, oh, you think I'm weak.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. So and that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, as a man, you need to hold yourself grounded. If you're gonna cry to your father, cry to your boys, talk to them. Like, if you're dealing with some shit, you gotta hit up your boys, because nothing a woman can do can help you bring you out of the mud. Like, the most deepest shit that you're going through, no woman can help you when it comes to that, because they're not gonna understand. They're not a man. And that's why you need to talk to other men to express your feelings, because we know how we are. Like, I don't even like to cry. I hate crying. I try my hardest not to cry, and if I cry, I make it look like I yawned, and that's why a tear came down. Like, I'd be like, you know, make it look like I yawned, but really I was crying. Like, and I'm not saying like there's not women. I understand what women want their men to be open to their feelings and stuff like that, but y'all don't really want that.
But they just think about it.
It's sweet. It sounds good.
Do you
sounds
really
cute.
think they want that?
No, not at
I
all.
want
It
someone
sounds
who's
cute.
vulnerable. I want someone who's
you
open. I
don't.
want someone who's gonna cry on my shoulder. I want someone who's this. Yeah, all that shit you
Sounds
guys want
cute.
is all cute and dandy.
Yeah.
Right? Would you care if your man couldn't fight?
Yeah. See?
All that toxic shit. Oh, I don't want a man that's toxic. I don't want a man that's this. I don't want that. Okay, your man not knowing how to fight and being all those things that you want. Let's see how much you love him.
No, yeah. If
When
he
you
gets
see him
knocked out in front of
when
you,
you see him getting knocked out in front of you, when you see someone disrespect you and him not doing nothing about it.
there was a Joe Rogan episode where she was, I believe she was a UFC fighter. She was with somebody who was a UFC fighter, and she had seen her boyfriend get knocked out in the cage. And she said immediately when she seen him get knocked out and he was like swinging, you know, you get knocked out, you get stiff, and he was like still swinging on the ground. She said that she had like lost respect. She said like, something just changed, like seeing him in that vulnerable state. And that's true. And by the way, women are hypergamous. Women are looking for the best man to survive, whether if it's money, financially, physically, emotionally, everything. And by the way, that's how it should be. As a woman, you're vulnerable. You're like second to children. You don't have the strength and capabilities of the man does. So you have to look for a man that's going to keep you safe. That makes sense.
I wouldn't want to be with no loser.
That's
I
what I'm
wouldn't want to
saying.
be with a nigga that don't got a job.
So any man that be
staying at
hating,
home,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
not have no goals. Like, bro, think about it.
Yeah.
Why would you want to build with somebody like that? Oh, I'm gonna be with this dude and he's gonna make me and my whatever children you have struggle. Why the fuck would I do that?
Or he'll use you as a human shield if somebody breaks into the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be careful. That's why I'm all for it for women being hypergamous, is choosing the best man is gonna keep them alive. And so we're gonna move to the next one. It says okay, so this is kind of understanding kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like, as a man, when it comes to leadership and being in your masculine, not being too much in your feminine, as a man, you need to understand women. So a lot of men don't get or understand women. So feminine energy navigates the world via emotion. So sometimes it may appear that she's all over the place, happy one minute, maybe raging the next. It may be hard to understand when we, masculine types, navigate by logic and making sense of everything. But you would do the same if you had her body chemistry. And I think that's one thing that we forget, is that we're not biologically the same, men and women. And we're never supposed to be the same. And when you understand that her emotions aren't irritating you or interrupting you, but instead it's a welcome diversion that actually livens up your world and brings you the best things in life, like passion, fun, and excitement, you'll see she actually makes your world better every single day. So as a man, you need to understand the way that women are. They're not like us. As a man, you can't judge your values and the way you look at things as a woman would. We're totally different. We're not meant to be the same. We're not equal in any way. The only thing that's equal is the respect that both of us should have as human beings. And I think we forget that. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why men sometimes fail in relationships. Like we fail to understand women and how they are. That, for me, that's one thing I learned about women, is when they're getting their emotions or on the time of the month, or they might love you right now and they hate you later because of whatever they've seen or whatever. You have to be able to be the rock to the waves and understand how they are, and understand that also brings the excitement. Because a man, bro, if we didn't have women, like if I didn't have women, right? If I didn't have no women in my life, or that wasn't even a thing, I'll be just so focused on work. I'm working 20 hours a day, 4 hours of sleep every single day, stacking money and trying to build a business and stuff like that. But women do make the world go round because women bring that light. Women make you, let's go to the beach. Let's just do something simple. Let's just watch a movie. They make you relax. They make you like release the tension that you have all built up from all the stress, the pressures of the world. They're trying to destroy your manlyhood on the news. They're trying to make you soft. And like all these challenges, or you getting tested in the street, but a woman's feminine energy makes you be more relaxed, be more at peace. But that's only when you understand them. Like you can't always look at your woman's emotion, even though it's annoying sometimes, even though it's frustrating the way they get, even if you look at if they're bitching or complaining, that's how you want to look at it. It's best to understand, like, this is what makes sometimes the relationships fun, because like if the relationship was just perfect and it's just like this, it's not really exciting. Like, you know, like little, like if they want to argue with something like that, I think it's adorable, because, you know, usually the girls are usually smaller than us that we get with. So imagine some little small little girl like just yelling at you or arguing at you, just looking.
And you're
at
looking
her.
down like,
You're just looking at like, aren't you adorable? Aren't you adorable? Look at you, you mad? And like it pisses them off, but like, you know, you have to understand women, like, and I failed to understand women in the beginning stages of my relationships, and even then, it's still sometimes you get so caught up in your own work and your own life and your own name that sometimes the women's emotions sometimes gets to you.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what's another key that nobody talks about, bro? Mm-hmm. It's their ambitions, bro.
Yeah.
When someone gets with a woman and they get comfortable, you ever notice how some people, like, you'll see, like, they'll gain like 40 pounds. Mm-hmm. They'll stop doing the stuff they usually do, like stop hitting the gym, stop doing whatever journey they were on before they met her. Like, they stopped doing it. And in the article, it brings out lacking ambition. If your drive to be the best version of yourself dies because you've got a girlfriend or a partner, you'll never have had that drive to be the best in the first place. Ambition is the desire to get out of the bed on a cold, rainy day. Ambition is the voice that doesn't let you quit, even if in your brain and your body it tells you to. This is how you be a man who your partner maintains respect for. When the ambition starts to fade, or if it never is in you, you think that the partner you want to become, if someone is attracted to your ambition, you can bet that when the ambition fades, so will their attraction for you. So if you're doing something, like if you're hitting the gym, you're doing the self-motivation, self-help things, you're doing everything to build yourself up. And then when you get the woman, you stop working out, you stop eating healthy, you stop, going on jogs, you start watching marathons, and you gain 40, 50 pounds, you can't blame your partner for not being attracted to you anymore. You can't blame anybody else but yourself. If you're doing all these things to build yourself up as a man, and as soon the very first taste of a relationship you get, or of a woman that you get, you're like, okay, yeah, I'll call off of work. Oh yeah, okay, and you know what? I'll work out the following day. Oh yeah, okay, well, I'll do this. No, you gotta stay in that same routine. You gotta stay on that same grind, and she's gonna respect you for that. Real talk. You can't get off of that, and then the stuff she was attracted to, if she's just attracted to your ambitions, if the stuff that she's attracted to, you're not doing anymore, what else is there for her to stay to? It's almost disrespectful to the man you've become. It's disrespectful to your family because they provided the platform for you to get to the level that you're supposed to be. It's disrespectful to all the work that you've put in because you're willing to stop just because, you got some coochie in all reality. But what is something that you can touch on about that and that topic? Yeah,
I think this is why as a man you got to take care of yourself. You have to have a greater purpose than just like getting the woman. Like, you just can't solely only do things for getting the woman. and then your ambitions die. Like, you got to take care of yourself physically, hygiene, your appearance as well. Like, because she fell in love with you like from what she's seen at you at first. So if you're not taking care of yourself in all aspects, from the way you dress, from the way you smell, from your haircuts, from all that stuff, you cannot put the foot off the gas. Like, because, and just like the same thing applies to women as well. That's why as a man, you need to understand that, because remember, she's always going to choose what's the best option for her. And you need to make sure that you're that fucking guy. Like, she needs to feel that. She needs to see that. She needs to, like, when she talks to you, when you're around other people, she sees the respect that you get. She sees the way people admire you. She sees that how people talk so highly of you because of how ambitious you are. You need to have the most craziest ambitions in this life, because life is so short. You're God-fearing. There's things that's bigger than her, bigger than this relationship, bigger than yourself, that you need to chase, because that is so attracting to a woman. Let me read the next one. It was the lacking bravery is the next one.
Yeah, the number 5.
Right. So number 5. So lacking bravery. So picture this, right? Picture this scenario. You are sleeping with your girlfriend one night, and you both wake up to the sound of what might be someone entering your apartment or house. Did a dog knock something over, or is it a crazy axe murderer coming to kill you both? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Either way, the safety of your home has been threatened. Your home is now a danger zone, and you have to act. Do you cower in fear? Do you grab a baseball bat and see what's up? If you want to maintain respect in your relationship, here's what you don't do. You don't use your girlfriend as a human shield while you cower behind her. Instead, you stand your ground, have her call the police, and get your ass out of bed to check out the issue. It doesn't matter if you're afraid. If you allow your fear to dictate your behavior, you're a coward. And that's why, exactly, like as a woman, you're looking for your man to step up, because a woman, you're vulnerable. You're either small in height, you don't know how to fight, you probably never shot a gun. And as a man, he needs to have those capabilities to be able to protect you and shield you, so then you could feel comfortable and safe. But sometimes guys talk the big game, but then when shit pop off, they're the same one. And I've heard crazy, sad stories where the guy has used a woman as a shield and she ended up getting killed. Like a couple of months ago, I think I seen a story. I forgot what neighborhood, but they were walking in an alley. Guys try to I think rob the dude, try to shoot him, and then he used his girl as a shield. I think his family found out, her family found out, and they were obviously completely upset because he survived and she died because he used her as a shield. So it's kind of like, you have to be, as a man, you can't let emotions and fear dictate. What are you afraid of, dying? Like, we're all gonna die. As a man, you have to protect your woman at all facets.
But I think it goes back to a lot of men being feminine, mm-hmm. and being in the mentality of so fearful of mm-hmm. shit going on, so fearful of things that in all reality, excuse my language, but they're a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm into watching a lot of podcasts. I'm into watching a lot of engagement. And there was this guy, I think he went by the name of Destiny or something. He's the
blue hair dude.
He's a streamer.
The blue hair dude.
Hear me out.
I know what you're talking about.
They were talking to him because he was talking against Andrew Tate. Andrew. Let's just call him AT, okay? Because I don't want to get our episode banned.
Yeah.
Say he was talking to a dude named AT that is hyper masculine.
Mm-hmm.
He asked him, "What would happen if someone kicked down your door and you're upstairs and there's one gun? If you're so feminist, tell me what you would do." The dude looked at the camera and said, "The person, whoever is the better shot, will go downstairs and handle whoever is the intruder." And mind you, this dude is married, right? Mm. He literally said he was willing to let his woman go down there. Whoever the better shot was, go down there and see who was the intruder. At that point, bro, you crossed the line. Because regardless if you're the fucking better shooter or whatever the fuck you're talking about, bro, you're supposed to go down there and you got kids upstairs, you got your wife upstairs. You're supposed to go down there and handle business, bro. Go down there and check it out. Even if it was just a squirrel, it doesn't matter, bro. You go down there and you search the premises, bro.
Yeah.
That is the epitome of a male acting feminine. Willing to give up your masculine frame, the frame to the objective to protect, to provide, protect for your family. You're willing to look at could you imagine being a woman, being married, having kids, and someone breaks your window downstairs and your man looks up at you and talking about are you gonna go check? Taps you on your shoulder, wakes you up. Are you gonna go look? Could you imagine, bro?
That's fucking crazy. And that shit happens too. I know that shit happens.
That's crazy.
Nah, see? And this is why men need to focus being on the best version that they can be and being the leader that every woman's gonna want and desire. I think we'll move on to the next thing. Now we're gonna dive into what men and women want from each other in a relationship. We simplified the things and we will expand on it, but these are some of the majority things that we see that, what men and women want. Right now, we're going to start with the men. So what men want in a woman in a relationship and why it's important to know so you get the man that you desire, because as a woman, you need to know what a man wants, especially the man that you desire, because you could be hot shit, whatever you think you are, whatever, but if you have as a woman, you can't just have a list of the man that you want, but yet you don't even know what that man wants from you. And so here we want to help you guys out. And some of the important things that we want to be aware of. I don't know if you want to go ahead and read the notes right there, B-Dab, where it says.
Yeah. So the first thing that we're going to touch on is where a man is at in his life, his success, his accomplishments, and what his experiences has been will dictate what type of woman he wants and is willing to accept.
And then I'll go with the next one. So men, so this is for majority of men, and we could definitely speak to this. This statistics, to the facts, to the studies, to the majority that men want a submissive woman. And what does that mean, right? So a submissive woman that is willing to allow him to lead the relationship. The man understands his pure intentions to make sure his woman is safe within his guidance. So obviously this is the type of man you desire. He knows what he wants. He's not doubting. He's not swaying. He knows what he wants. So allowing him to lead doesn't mean you don't have a voice, but it allows you to feel free in your feminine without the burden of carrying a masculine frame. When the man feels he earned your trust, he will go above and beyond to ensure you're protected. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add on that.
I mean, it's just facts. It's just facts. Like I want to, in my relationship, I want to be trusted to lead the relationship. If I make a decision in the relationship, hey, like if we're upstairs and I hear a sound downstairs, hey, babe, go in there, get the kids, come back in the room, lock the door. I don't want to hear, why can't I come down there with you? I don't want to hear that type of shit. No, I want you to trust my knowledge. I want you to trust my ability to make decisions. Hey, babe, I need you to do this for me. You feel what I'm saying? I don't need no kickback. I don't need no nothing. Don't add more to what it really is.
Right.
I just want you to, it might sound controversial. It might sound like, I'm an asshole, but I need you to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I need you to listen. You feel what I'm saying? So,
let me add a little bit to that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to add too, the reason why a man wants a submissive woman, an obedient woman, a woman that trusts him is because he knows what the hell he's doing. Like this, by the way, we're talking about the guy that you desire, the guy that you want, not the guys that you dealt with that you picture as the majority of men based on the men that you chose, not the bad experiences. We're talking about the men that you really truly want, the ones that you really are looking for that you haven't found yet. Because the type of man that you wants a woman that's not going to question his leadership because he has a resume. He knows what he wants. There's no doubting. There's no questioning himself. He knows exactly what he wants, and he is 10 toes down. So remember, we're talking about the men that you desire, the men that you want. We're not talking about the guys that you dealt with, that you chose, that you had bad experiences with. Because a man wants a submissive woman that's going to trust his leadership because he thinks deeper than you do. He is smarter than you. He's more sophisticated than you. He's more intelligent than you. And I think that's fair because as a woman, I'm sure a woman doesn't want somebody who is equal to her in a mental state or lower. A woman wants a man that's smarter, wiser, articulate, intelligent, thinks 10 steps ahead, right? And as a woman you should obviously want a man that's like smarter than you, of course, to lead their relationship.
You want someone that's in a better position physically, mentally, and spiritually that can motivate you to be the woman that you know you could be.
Yeah, because let's be honest, ladies, if you guys are not willing to be submissive to any man or the right man, how do you think you're ever going to get kids and a husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to be able to submit and be obedient to your man, like how it says in those vows when you guys get married, don't expect to get married. You might have success in dating. You might have sex. And if that's the goal, great. By all means, you want to travel, that's it. That's fine. But you ask yourself those deep questions. Do I want to get married? Do I want to have kids? Because if you do and you want to pick the right man, you're going to have to be submissive to that man.
And let me dive right into this next point that the article brings out. Men want a woman that supports his purpose. As a woman, you got to make sure you support that purpose. If his purpose doesn't align with you, with what you see in your life, don't try to force it. Let him be. He wants a woman that listens to him and brings peace into his life. As a man, there is a lot of pressure in the world that is constantly testing his confidence and manlyhood. So it is critical that the woman in his life will bring the energy of support in order for him to tackle the world. No man wants to deal with the stress of the world and coming home to the stress of his woman. I can't remember the scripture in particular. Mm-hmm. I'll look it up. But I know there's a scripture that says a man would rather be in the wilderness than to deal with a combative woman or a basically
I summed it up right there though.
Yeah, basically a combative woman.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And just think about that. Being in the Bible, bro. Just think about that. Mm-hmm. It is more peaceful to be in the wilderness than to deal with a combative woman.
If you think about it too, like you got to remember, like a man's purpose is to leave something behind, create a name for himself, do everything in the sake of a legacy, destiny, purpose, God, to be able to leave an impact on the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a woman, you need to find a man that you align with his purpose, or else you're wasting your time. To think that a man's supposed to abide by your purpose is absolutely delusional. Like, that's not going to work out ever. And these are the type of guys, like how I said earlier, like the friend zone to the cheating to the beta types, the guys you don't respect. The relation might be great for the first few years, but doesn't go nowhere. Like, you need to find a man that you align with his purpose, because you are second in command. Like, you're second to him. He is the superior. You are the inferior. And nothing's wrong with that, because remember, this is the type of man that has the best interest for you. He's completely loyal to you when it comes to making sure that you're well taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Because the worst thing you want to do, bro, is like, you have his purpose, you have these goals, you have these ambitions, and your woman's holding you back. That's like something that, I've dealt with. I don't know if you've dealt with, like maybe some resistance. Like, they might support you, but sometimes they only support you when it's in their benefit, but they're not supporting you for the sake of your purpose.
Most definitely. Mm-hmm. I've been in relationships to where, like, maybe football didn't add time well spent with them, and it was, headbutting. Mm-hmm. Hey, why do you have to go train? Hey, why do you have to do this? Hey, why do you have to do that? And you know you have a higher purpose. You know, you were doing this before you met her, and you're gonna do it after you met her. So why is it a problem if you knew this is what I was doing from the beginning?
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't add to them, then it's a problem, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
If you feel where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But do you want to read that next point?
Yeah.
Before we go into the next
This is
part?
a big one too. So it says men want a woman that is loyal to him and doesn't have roaming eyes. For women, when loyalty exists, it depends on the man, the situation, and how she feels of him. Her loyalty goes up and down depending on her emotions. You need to be a man that she respects in order for her to be loyal to you. A man wants a woman who commits to him with body and mind. She should want to spend her life building something unique with him, standing ground through challenging moments, sickness, loss of loved ones, arguments. Men don't want a woman who constantly needs attention and validation from men.
A woman having roaming eyes is the worst thing, the worst quality a woman can have.
Talk about some scenarios that we've dealt with, like,
bro, a woman, like, walking with your woman, like walking, let's say you're walking with someone that you're talking to, right? And let's just say you're out to dinner, and you walk past someone. It might be somebody good looking, and she breaks her neck to turn around and look. And then when you ask her about it, she follows up with, well, I'm just observant. That is the worst quality a woman can have.
Talk about the reverse too. Like, you're walking by yourself and you also might see a girl with her boyfriend.
I don't know how many times, especially at the gym. Like I told you at the gym, I'm working out, whatever it may be, and I see someone come in with their boyfriend. And I know it's their boyfriend because they come in holding hands. It is what it is. But as soon as they scan the scene, that hand holding stops. The eyes start to wonder. They lock on to who they really see themselves attracted to.
Right.
And, you know, I'm strong. So I see, you know, looking through things, trying to see. And then what's the worst part about this? I'm like, okay. Like, I see this dude's girl looking at me. And I'm looking away. I'm not even paying attention. And the worst thing you can do as a man is be mugging the nigga your girl's looking at.
Yeah.
Right. And every time, bro, I see this beta male ass dude looking at me like, you're looking at my girl. When their girls looking at me with binoculars looking at me in the gym. I like, that is the worst quality a woman can have above anything. Yeah. Right? But I just think, I think that article that point brings it out perfectly, because it's like, you want a woman that's going to be with you in body and in soul, in mind, in everything. You don't want someone that's with you in body when you guys are alone. And when you guys go out, she's looking and trying to, what are you examining? Because I can examine every fat ass that walks past me, but I choose not to. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So it comes back to a respect level. The woman is the women that are looking at me in the gym coming in with their boyfriend, that's not respectful. You don't have a certain level of respect for your man. You don't love your man to a certain extent because you're doing that. If you loved your man to that extent, you wouldn't even look. I've seen some women come into the gym, stick by their man, not even look, locked in. And they don't have to wear tank tops and booty shorts. They in there with a sweater. They're in there with the tights. They in there getting it. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you can tell, and you know what I'm talking about. You can tell when these choosing signals are going off.
Yeah, because if you think about it too, like as a man, like this, when a man's with a woman, majority of the time, like this is a woman that you're willing to die for, fight for. If somebody smacks her ass or says something to her, you're gonna step up and be like, nah, or somebody breaks in the apartment or whatever, disrespects her, you're gonna stand up. And so as a man, like, of course you look at your woman like she's supposed to be loyal. She's supposed to be the one to have only her eyes on you. But also, let's be fair that you have to be that guy too. You gotta make sure you're taking care of yourself, making sure you are that guy. making sure you're ambitious, making sure your appearance. I mean, as a man, like your value is really your resources. As a man, like the way you carry yourself, everything about you, the way people look at you, and that's where a woman will be locked in on you. But that's why you have to be careful the type of woman you choose, because if you see red flags immediately where she's always looking at other guys when you guys are together, you got to do some work on yourself for sure, maybe. Or maybe that woman's maybe not the best woman to pick. And so you got to be careful, because women get you killed. And you got to be very careful of like the type of women you choose, because they could be the one that could put you in a bad situation where she was maybe looking at that guy, and then you just see the guy looking at her, and then you're over here acting up like, why are you looking at my girl? But yet it was your girl that was actually looking at him first. And I've seen that multiple times. And you see on videos, stuff like that, where the girl started it. And by the way, this is obviously like a small minority of women. I'm not saying all women are like that, because there's a lot of great women that are very loyal that don't do that. But that's why as a woman, you have to make sure that if you're gonna get with a guy, you're gonna date a guy, or you want to get in this relationship with a guy, marriage, or you're married, like your eyes should only be on him. Like your eyes should never be looking at other guys at all. Like I love, like in the Islamic faith, is like the lower your gaze. Like as a man, you lower your gaze to other women. You don't even make eye contact with women if you have this one woman you're supposed to be monogamous to. And as a woman, you don't look at men in the eyes. You don't even touch hands with a man. You don't even shake hands with a man, or a man don't even shake hands with a woman in the Islamic faith, because you carry that energy, and you kind of like your purity for only your woman or your man. And that's how I feel like it should be. Like you should be very like kind of closed off from another man or another female if you guys are in that type of monogamous relationship where it's only you two, because loyalty is different for men and women. Like I think women's loyalty is really based off of emotions, of how they look at you and how you make them feel. And as a man's loyalty is really like the sexual aspect, and like looking at other men in a sexual way and stuff like that. But ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think that ties right into the next thing that we're gonna talk about. Getting into the topic of what women want in a relationship and why it's important so you get the woman that you desire. Mm-hmm. That first point. Did you want to read what that brings out?
Yeah, let me read the first one. So, a woman wants a man who makes her feel safe, consistently though. Whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. She needs to feel safe with you in order for her to be able to meet your needs. It's important she feels your masculine energy coming from a place of honor and confidence, where her true feminine self comes out. It's your job to create the space to allow her to be her true feminine self. And I feel like that's so important, because in order for her to feel safe, then she'll let her guard down. She'll let the masculinity down if she works at a job where majority of women usually are working at now. Excuse me. A lot of majority of women are working in masculine roles, whether it's corporate, HR, daycare, nursing. It doesn't really matter. It's like they usually have to be in a masculine role. So if you let your woman feel safe, she trusts you in all aspects, she will then be easier to abide by you, be more submissive to you, will then tailor to your needs. And as a man, that's why it's important. Like you need to know what a woman needs in order for her to be submissive, how you want her to be. Like, as a man, you should get to like if you're in a relationship with a woman and this is somebody who means a lot to you, I like to look at it like in a way of obviously it takes time, gotta be patient, you gotta be building. But every day, like if this is a girl that is your wife and future mother of your kids, every day that she is working should be a reminder why you fail. It should be a reminder why every day she's working should be a reminder. Should be a reminder why as a man that you're not doing enough. Like for me, like my goal is to get like my women to not be working for money. Like I want her to make sure that she don't gotta work at all.
Yeah, for sure, because you want to take care of things. You want to take care of things financially, bro. Like that's the goal. Like, hey, like, babe, I want you to take care of our kids. Like I want you to be at home. I want you to be stress free. No, for real. Like I want you to be able to take care of all the things that are important. Being a mother, the most important thing that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
You feel? We're laughing because this nigga farted and he was talking.
Wait a minute.
He was mid sentence and farted. But in all reality, it's like we want our women to take care of those things. I don't want my woman working 100 hours, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
I don't want my woman having to stress, pulling her hair out about projects, about all this shit. No, the goal is to have my woman at home. You feel what I'm saying? The goal is to have my woman, full time mommy. Hey, when we go on vacations, like, hey, you know, we getting with Papa and we getting on the plane, you know, and that's the important. That's why it's so important to pick your partner, because how the mentality that your woman has, the same thing is gonna be passed down to your children. If she's negative and toxic, what do you think she's gonna pass down to your children? How do you think she's gonna be to your children? If she's positive, she's loving, she's fearing God, she knows like she has morals and stuff like that, what do you think she's gonna teach your children? You gotta be critical about who you having sex with, bro, because that goes a long way. It's deeper than you. It's deeper than just having fun. It's deeper than like the feeling of it. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's big.
And that's why excuse me. One thing I did want to mention, that when it comes to like making your woman feel safe, like physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally, excuse me, you do want to, if she wants to work, you allow her to work, right? Like if she wants to work, that's fine. But at the same time, like she needs to be able to feel safe with you in order for her to be her best self. One thing I learned, now I don't know how people feel about this, but I feel like the best thing you could do for a woman is to give her the ability not to think so much. Like not let her make decisions. Like if we're gonna go out to eat, look, I'm gonna take you here. We're gonna go here after, and she's just there for the ride. Like she don't even have to think. Like she's just enjoying herself. She's able to be herself. She doesn't have to think so much to the point where it stresses her out. Because one thing is real is like when a lot of women stress out and they're in these masculine roles, one thing that I tend to see is alopecia. Like alopecia, where they start to lose hair, kind of like who was it, Will Smith's wife. Like she also had that, and other women that I know that had that too. It's like a lot of women stress out a lot with a lot of like decision making things. I'm not saying they're not capable of doing that, but I'm saying like you want to kind of relinquish some of these like thinking and stuff. You want to go ahead and read the next one? For sure.
And let me get to the next point. A woman wants a man who leads. It kind of dives into what you were talking about. Women often take the lead because the man is either stepping up or the woman doesn't trust him to lead. Though the man isn't stepping up, or the woman doesn't trust him to lead. In order for her to want you to lead, she needs to trust your integrity and also feel that you have a mission, drive, and purpose. She's not going to want you to drive the car if she thinks that you don't know where you're going or how to get there. And that's true. Why would I let this person steer the ship if he's never steered a ship before? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've watched this person, crash 100 times. Why would I let him steer the ship for our family? So it's forcing women to get into a masculine role. It's like, oh, well, you don't know a lot about finances. I know a lot about finances. Let me make these decisions. Let me control and contribute. And, for some people that might work. But you should be in your masculine. You should be in a position to where you can make the decisions. You're knowledgeable on these things. You're knowledgeable on being minimalist and how you spend your money while you're trying to build wealth and trying to make decisions, knowing how to protect yourself, being knowledgeable in combat, being knowledgeable in home protection, home prevention from theft. And you should be putting your girl on game on a lot of these things. You should be, hey, babe, like you should be, hey, you need, carry around this taser, carry around this. Hey, if this happens, you should be talking about all this stuff. Hey, these bills are due on these days, like yada yada. Like you should be putting her on game on any and everything that you have knowledge in, right? Just in case. But that's gonna lead to her trusting you and putting you in that frame of being the leader in that relationship. Juan, do you have anything to comment on that?
Yeah, especially like and when it comes to this, right? We're talking about what women want in a man in a relationship. Of course, there's some women that want to be independent because that's what they think they want, but really, a lot of women have been programmed to believe that, and I don't really truly believe that's really truly what they want until they get to a certain age where they mature. Usually, a lot of women mature when they get to the age of 30. That's when they start to realize like what they actually really truly want. And all women really want a man that leads. All women want the Troy. They want the movie figures of a man, the Prince Charming type shit. You know, like. They want the type of man that's able to know what he wants, does what he says, takes care of himself, knows where he's going, makes some mistakes here and there, but he admits it, betters himself, holds himself accountable, holds her accountable, leads her to be her best version of herself, guides her as well. I think every woman wants a man that is a leader. I've never heard a woman that doesn't say they want a man that's a leader, unless she's like a feminist. But if that's the case, like... Later on, I think there was a study too. I read a study a couple of days ago where it said that a lot of feminists still want the masculine, what they call toxic masculinity of a man. Like they still want the type of man that's gonna sometimes smack her ass out of nowhere, but she's gonna like, if it's the right guy, she's gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? But like, she wants that man that is still masculine, that's still a natural leader.
But just think about this. Like when things go wrong, there's a masculine man that is called to solve the problem.
Yep.
You know, hey, you know, I was just mugged. Hey, somebody, you know, was trying to break into my car. Mm-hmm. They're calling the most masculine man that they can get to come handle that task.
Yep.
Right? So why is it okay in that sense, but in a relationship you can't be submissive to this person because he's toxically masculine?
Yeah.
Because there's a word for everything that has to do with a man knowing what he wants.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like that's why we need, like, as for women and even as for men too, like, you guys need to question your beliefs. Where did you get these ideas from? Like, your opinions to the knowledge you have. Where did this come from? And where did this come from? Do they have the best benefit for you guys or themselves? And so to move on to, I think it's like one of the last ones.
Yes, it's the last point.
One of the last points when it comes to what women want in a man in a relationship is a woman wants a man that she respects. She wants someone who is a man of his word, be a man that's actions and words match. She doesn't want a man that has her confused on where she stands with you. She should feel she can trust you and rely on you and feel you will follow through with what you say you're going to do. And be a man of honor. You should never give her any reason to doubt your commitment, honesty, or loyalty. And this means being a man of integrity, always telling the truth, even if it hurts her or potentially lose her. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned to do was with women, you got to tell them the truth, regardless of how you think they're going to feel, regardless if you think you're going to lose them. I think at the end of the day, I'd rather live in reality and tell them the truth, whether they like it or not. And 100% of the time, it's more effective when you just tell the truth because they will actually respect you more than if you were to lie. Cheating, the reason why cheating is bad is because it's the word cheating. You did it behind their back. You were dishonest. You were lying about this and that. But in reality, if you were just honest, like, you know what? I love you with all my heart. I'm willing to die for you. But I might talk to this other girl. I might engage with this other girl. And, you know, or with this other woman, whatever, out of state or whatever. And if you don't agree with that, if you don't want to fall in line with that, if, you know, this is too much for you, I completely understand. But I want to do that, and that's what I'm willing to do. And it's up to you. Like, the man is leaving it up to you to decide whether you want to work around that or with it or not. But he's being honest instead of lying, going behind your back. And I think sometimes that's what happens is a lot of men sadly aren't being honest because they're so scared of hurting that girl's feelings. They don't want to lose them, and I think that's a scarcity mindset because as a man, depending on the man, if he's the type of man that you usually desire, he can always get more women. Younger, older, whatever preference he wants. There's more women than there is men in the world, and a majority of women want 20% of the men in the world. They don't want the average guy. They don't want the blue collar guy. They want the guy that looks this way, money, this and that, status, whatever, recognition. And so that's why it's important. Women want a man that they respect. And really, when it comes to that, it's really communicating, being honest, being truthful, and really just standing your ground. If a man lies, makes a mistake, they own up to it. They hold themselves accountable. And I feel like that type of thing is what separates a man to a male.
Yeah, facts. I think, getting into our outro, I think everything that we talked about holds a lot of value. I feel like there was a lot of gems that we put into this and a lot of energy we put into this podcast. This is probably the most heavily researched podcast that we've ever done.
Yeah, for sure.
You feel what I'm saying? And you guys, as our brothers and sisters, we want to say we love and respect each and every one of you. We're not saying anything to downplay anybody. We're not saying anything to hurt anybody. We're not saying anything to hate on anybody. The stuff that we're saying out of good intentions. All the stuff that we're saying is to better you in some type of way. So, to get into our outro, it says, we don't take into account that men and women are different. That they are not supposed to be the same. That each has their own spiritual purpose, and that one marries perfectly into the other. We're different, but together we bond perfectly. We're not supposed to be there's no such thing as two alphas. You feel what I'm saying? It's two alphas. It doesn't mesh. You're the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? So you have to, in some ways, if you're a man, you have to look for the right person. You have to look for them. If you're a masculine man, if you're in that 20%, you have to look for someone. And there's someone out there. You have to look for someone that's going to be submissive, that's going to not be a headache, that's going to add to you. If you're a woman, you're looking for a masculine man that is going to provide, going to protect, going to, you ain't got to worry about him forming a plan about what you guys want to do for your future. He's already got it in his mind. He's already talking about it. He's putting you up on game on things, and when you're in those positions, when you're in those relationships, like, it's okay to allow your man to have the freedom to make decisions for the relationship. Let him have that masculine role. Let your woman have that feminine role. Allow your woman to be in her femininity. Allow yourself to mesh. And everything's gonna play out. And Juan, do you have anything else to tap in on?
Yeah, I like to use that same analogy as well. Like, I think the most important thing is we need more people to get married. We need more people to have kids. We need more people to be God fearing. We need more people to get closer to each other. We need people to, remove all this propaganda that people have been taught. Women to be independent, to men chase their desires. Like, we need to bring God-fearing back, and we need to bring the analogy that we understand that, like, the masculine and feminine roles go perfectly together to have a long-lasting relationship. Like how I said earlier, like, a man is like a coloring book. Bold outlines, empty spaces, but it paints the picture together what's supposed to be there. And a woman is to color that in, shading, lighten it up, the drawing, to then complete it and put that picture and to make it more fun, entertaining, and more fully embodied to sync the relationship together that marriage is and what it's supposed to be. I feel like we need to bring men and women together, and we need to make sure that we're doing the best that we can. Like, as a woman, you need to be what the man that you want to be wants from you, and as a man, you need to be all that you need to be able to get the woman you desire, and also to have standards just like the woman too. Because as a woman, you need to look for the best man for your survival, the best man to be a father, the best man to be a husband. And as a man, you need to be able to pick the best woman to be a mother of your kids, principle, morals, God-fearing, and you need these aspects together, because I feel like now more than ever, we need to bring us together.
Yeah, facts. You couldn't have said it any better. Mm-hmm. Like we said, we love each and every one of you. Please, you guys, tap in with us on Rumble. Follow us on Rumble. We need to, improve like our level of support on there. Mm-hmm. Just in case anything happens on YouTube. YouTube. We have 2 strikes, I do believe, on YouTube, right?
Not YouTube, that's TikTok.
Not YouTube, that's TikTok. Yeah, but follow us on YouTube, mm-hmm. TikTok, Rumble, Instagram, like on everything. Every platform that you could possibly think of. We appreciate y'all so much. And me and Wanaveli, we love each and every one of y'all. We hope y'all can take something from what we said. We appreciate y'all once again. And we'll see you next time on Self Revelations Podcast.
Sheesh.